Hey Vsauce, Pig here again, this time to show you the exposed tutorial of the trick that I posted yesterday and to make a very special announcement at the end of this video. So if you haven't figured out already from the description that I left on yesterday's video, the trick is already explained on the Vsauce channel. All I've added is just a couple different subtleties to make it more believable of a shuffle here. So what you need for this trick are either cards that you have customized yourself or playing cards, much like in the actual video you saw yesterday. So if you're gonna go the customized route, you're gonna need some cards here. You're gonna need some headphone warning cards if you want to go with that meme. You're gonna need some fantastic cards if you want to use that meme. You're gonna go for some autism cards, the PIGA. Notice the A, not the hard art, but please don't assault me, African American. So if you're gonna go this route, then the setup you're gonna need to do is get one of each one of these cards right here. So let's get cunt, let's get autism, let's get PIGA, let's get fantastic, and let's get headphone warning. And we're gonna leave those in that order right there. Then we're gonna replicate this order with the other cards. So we're gonna get cunt, autism, PIGA, fantastic, and last but not least, headphone warning. So now we have two stacks that are essentially in the same order over here. And these are going to be what you're going to work with to start the trick. If you want to go with playing cards, then I recommend you go for your most obnoxious Buck Twins bullshit cut to be able to produce both sets of cards that you need. So in this case, we're going to need just 5 of the diamond cards here, ace through 5. And we're also going to need the another set. Let me see how obnoxiously I could produce these for you guys today here, just using an amalgam of cuts that no doubt have been taken from other magicians with credit, Greg Wilson. So there you go. You're gonna need 2 sets of cards, ace through 5 of whatever suits you want. Here, ace through 5, and then ace through 5 in this order here. Gay transition. One of you mentioned Woody Aragon in the comments, and yes, this is based on somewhat of a shuffling principle by him, but it actually goes way further back to Paul Curry and this swindle switch. So that's pretty much the method here. So let's just go over the actual mechanics of the trick here. Now, if you failed, it's because you didn't follow along correctly, not because I'm a cunt. So you're a cunt. You should maybe be less of a cunt. So in this particular method, once we have the cards in these order, we hand it to the spectator and we inform them that they are to take whatever number of cards they want from the top and put it on the bottom. If you are a carefully noted, dutiful, autistic magician, you would notice that all I'm doing is cutting the cards. That's all that happens. It doesn't matter if they take 3 cards. All that's really happening is the same mechanics as a cut. But if you present it like, oh, you could take any number of cards you want from the top, it gives them the illusion of choice, which is what you want to give them. They have no choice, but you want to give them the illusion of choice. You want to make it like you're in Cuba or China or Pennsylvania. So you're just going to allow them to do this as many times as they want. They could be there all day if they want to. They could be there 2 weeks if you want to. But ultimately, you have them stop after a heated debate and tell them that they're going to make another set of decisions here. They're going to either choose to deal the cards on a table or switch it with however many cards they want. So if they deal the cards out to the table, they could deal it like that. However, if they choose to do the switch, then they switch however many cards they want. So here, they're adding, let's say they want to switch 3 cards. I'm just having them reverse the order of these cards here on top. This, again, doesn't do anything. But because it seems like you're giving them the illusion of choice here, they think like it matters. All that's really happening is you're reversing the order of the cards. But if you do it and say it under the pretense of saying, sir, I'm going to give you the opportunity to switch or deal as many cards as you want. So if you want to deal 1 card, that's fine. But if you want to switch it, go ahead and switch 3 cards just like that and drop it on the table. Again, all I'm doing is reversing the order. But to the spectator, they're not able to penetrate the clever wit. So you go through these with them as many cards as they want to do until you get to the end in whatever increments you want. You could tell them to name a number between 1 and 5 and switch cards that way if you're so inclined. But all it's done is cut the deck and switch the order of the cards, meaning that I've just pretty much dealt it, reversing the order. That's all that's happened here. So now you're ready So now you're gonna have the spectator deal the top 5 cards onto the table here. And you're careful to inform them to only deal the top 5 cards and to just place the remaining cards next to the pile here. So now you're set up. You reverse the order of one of these cards here, reverse the order of one pile, and the other pile is in the same order here. So this is pretty much, I don't know exactly who came up with this principle, so I'm gonna name 3 people that it could have potentially been. One is Bob Hummer, another one is Percy Diaconis, and the other and more likely of the one that came up with this principle is the Gilbert principle, the reverse idea that if you mirror 2 sets of cards, you could do some fun mathematical stuff if you never ever want to see a pussy. So now you're in a situation where if you have them switch cards, meaning take one card from the top and move it to the bottom for whatever pile they want 4 times, they're going to end up matching at the end. So they could switch whatever pile they want here. So they take one card from the top and put it on the bottom. Take one card from here, put it on the bottom. They do this 4 times. So you're telling them to switch 4 times, and they could do this in whatever pile they want. But ultimately, you see what happens here. The cards end up matching. You see, hot, self-working, Magic Stream. This is on Magic Stream. So now the first one is 4 switches. Then the next one is going to be 3 switches. So they switch one here. Maybe they switch one here. Maybe they switch another one here. But again, the cards are going to match on top. The next one, if you guessed it, it's going to be 2 switches. So they could switch whichever 2 piles they want here. But ultimately, again, guess what? They're going to match. The last one is 1 switch. So they switch whichever pile they want here. And again, you could ham up this last one and tell them, oh, if you would have switched this one, the cards would have been different. Of course, it doesn't matter because they're in the reverse order. So you see the ingenuity here, the math. So that, let's say they switch this pile. Now you take off these 2 cards which match, put them aside and say, oh, look, let's see, the last pile here. You managed the cards add up, the cards match. You're really, really good at this. But you know what? Let's check the other piles. And of course, each increasing pile is one more chance you get to getting them aroused. So that's the method here. The actual description, as I mentioned earlier, is already on the original Vsauce video. So that isn't you're not pulling a fast one on old Pig Kick here by saying, see, the original already explains the video. I left that in the description purposely. So secret announcement. So I've been working really hard on a little project to myself here that I'm going to try to release my first instant download here. Yeah, I know. I've grown so much since I was a small little piglet. So I'm releasing my first instant download. I think it's a super clean method of doing any card at any number that I'm sure you will enjoy. I'm going to be dropping the trailer for this probably at the same time that I'm dropping this video. So if you haven't seen that trailer yet, you should go and check it out because it will definitely make your PP enormous. I'm leaving the URL to this under in the description, so you could check that out and not only get an amazing version of any card at any number that is impromptu, borrow deck, and has the spectator deal down the cards in their own hands to the thought of card and the thought of number, then you should hit that up. Hit that. Support old Pig Kick, learn a good method, and as always, thanks for watching.
When I see you again, 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 when I see you again.